Yes.
There we go.
Good afternoon, man.
Nice today. Can you
Yeah.
hear me?
Yeah. Yeah.
How you
So,
doing, buddy?
yeah, all good, man. Trying to see if I can. Oh, no, I should have done it at the beginning. I think it was something. I was trying to write a topic thing, but I don't think I can do it now. But it's all right. But yeah. So today we're going to talk about some boxing corruption that has come forward, and also some politics between two fighters and the network company. So yeah, so we'll get into the uh, the Rio Olympics of 2016. It has come to our knowledge that there has been an investigation being led, and they found to have been some match fixing, i.e., fight fixing. Um, and they found that Michael Conlan's lost to Vladimir Nikitin. I'm not sure what country he's from, obviously Eastern Europe, I imagine. It was allegedly fixed, and also there's problems with Joe Joyce, his loss to Tony Yoka from France. Joe has now come on record saying he wants to be awarded his gold medal rightfully, uh, due to these findings. So, what is it you can tell us more about this, and what do you know?
I mean, in all honesty, it's been widely published in a number of periodicals, Telegraph, Independent, etc. And literally just been reading up on what's been divulged. This gentleman was commissioned to do a full investigation following what I believe were the initial investigations from 2019.
Okay.
I see there was a 2019 investigation, and that seems to have come to a head where they basically, the 2019 investigation was done by AIBA, the boxing authority, on themselves. It seems to have hit a wall where people were saying you can't judge yourself, in the same way that black people always say police can't police themselves, so you need an independent body to do that. So this gentleman, Mr. McLaren, was hired to do this investigation, and his forensic team. So the mere fact that you hear the word forensic team means they're doing a deep dive,
Yeah.
because it's no longer just the case of, oh, let me just ring a couple of people. No, we're going to be taking records. We're going to be looking at phone records. We're going to be, looking over the shoulder of the paperwork. Every little thing is going to get a look at. And it appears that, based on their investigation, that there has been collusion, and there has been effectively fixing of results. There were signals being used in the 2016 Olympics in Rio between judges to aggregate scorecards and make sure that certain people won in certain bouts. So with that huge revelation, we now have the preliminary data out, which has been published. There's further investigation taking place, but quite clearly, this is, a huge stab in the back, a huge punch in its own face for boxing.
Yeah, it's been a huge low blow, a huge rabbit punch, a huge
Yeah.
kidney punch. Yeah, as it says, Richard McLaren has led the investigation. So, what do you think that they're going to do about, particularly Michael Conlan and Joe Joyce's losses, which have resulted in them not being awarded further?
Yeah, I mean, the difficulty is obviously with Michael Conlan, he lost in his quarterfinal, so he can't get anything.
Yeah.
Yeah, Joe Joyce lost in a final, so you could turn around and say, well, you lost in a final. the problem then lies is like, well, you know, at what stage does a person stop saying, I've got a claim to be a gold medalist? I could have said I beat Joe Joyce in a final, or in a semi-final, for instance, and he went on to the final and then he lost his final. Should I therefore get the win in the gold medal if I was slighted in the semi-final? So without doing a absolute precise deep dive and understanding exactly which bouts were affected by these particular skullduggery, it's difficult to turn around and just say, well, it's clear he should have got the gold medal.
Yeah.
And obviously Michael Conlan has no claim on that gold medal. He may very well have been the best boxer at that weight in that tournament, but we never know because he didn't fight the semi-finalist. He didn't fight the other finalists on the other side of the draw, which would have, you know, obviously been how you work out the best fighter in the tournament.
Yeah, so yeah, Michael Conlan don't really have a claim. The only one really is Joe Joyce, which many people thought he should have won on the day anyway. Many people have said he beat Tony Yoka. I thought he did just about enough. Yeah, over the line.
There's another fight that has been highlighted in that which was the Kazakhstan boxer Vasily Levitt, who absolutely battered his guy in a final, Evgeny Tishenko, the Russian. And again, this has been identified as a fight where the Kazakhstan boxer won, but the skullduggery took place and the Russian got the gold. So that would be a never clear case where you can say, you know, this is what's happened.
So do you think that they should swap over medals, or just let the person who won keep his, but then award the person who got shafted just get a gold also?
It's a difficult one because I think at the very least, the person who got the silver, if they were shafted of the gold, should get a gold medal.
Yeah.
You know, and it ends up being a case where two people have a claim at a gold medal. I was awarded the gold medal on the day, but this guy, following a review of what was a bit of skullduggery, actually received a gold medal. And then we end up in that situation like the high jump where the two guys decided, you know what, can we just get 2 goals?
Yeah, because they both knew they weren't going to clear it, so they were tired.
Yeah. So that would probably be a suitable, you know, solution at this stage. But, you know, this is a huge issue because, you know, this isn't the first time we've seen skullduggery in boxing, both at amateur and professional levels. And that's why, you know, I felt that we needed to sit down and have a conversation because, you know, quite clearly, you know, some serious issues have been brought to light as a result of this particular investigation. You know, and if you start going back in Olympics or other world championships and Commonwealth Games and whatever championships, you're bound to find the same kind of situation, because rest assured, the fact that it's been highlighted at this particular competition will tell you that probably those judges were judges at previous competitions, and therefore would have been using their system of skullduggery in those previous competitions, which would mean that you'd end up with other results at other tournaments previous.
Base the Kid says Yoka should get demoted to silver and both should have silver medalists, no gold.
That's an interesting one.
Very interesting. But then would that be fair on Tony? Because unless he was part of the corruption, it's not his fault.
Exactly.
Outside of the ring. So if anything, they should just upgrade Joe and they both go home with gold and be happy. And it's in the history books, you know, that they bought gold. So unless the fighter like Vladimir Nikitin, Tony Yoka, and that last guy you said who beat the Kazakhstan guy, was in on it, then a demotion wouldn't really be a fair solution to what took place at these Olympics.
Yeah, you know, I'm just all about putting right the wrongs. And to me, putting right the wrongs means you give Joe Joyce a gold medal.
Yeah.
Because he did what he had to do. He got to the final, and by all intents and purposes, anyone who watched that fight would have said Joe won it. But, you know, I just think you give him a gold because you know, look, I get back to this thing again where I keep talking about the annals of history. In years to come, I would just like to know, people will say, yeah, Joe Joyce was a gold medalist.
Yeah.
Yeah. In the same way that I still see Roy Jones as a gold medalist.
Yeah.
You know, and this comes down to, remember we were talking about this about, you know, what do people perceive, whereas what do the history books tell?
Yeah.
Yeah. And for me, you should put the two together. So he should be a gold medalist. He should receive a gold medalist.
Yeah.
A gold medal.
Yeah. Yeah. We've had lots of in history. Roy Jones has been on the receiving end of a dubious decision. Floyd Mayweather in the Olympics in the semis, I believe so. That's not obviously bronze, but he clearly won. And there's been other loads. We've seen it in 2012 with Anthony Joshua against the Savon, the Cuban kid in the first round, in the first heats. That Cuban got shafted at the London Olympics. Yeah, so something was fishy there. Wait, so base the kid in a football match. If something happens like that, it gets ruled no contest, and neither people gets the points. Same thing here. You can't decide conclusively who won, so both. Yeah, but you see, with football, it's just 3 points or a point. With this is like the UEFA Champions League final. This is not even the UEFA Champions League. This is the World Cup final. It's
yeah.
World Cup final.
Yeah, somebody has to carry that trophy.
Yeah, this is not about 3 points. This is about
you can't have a final and nobody take home the trophy.
Yeah.
That's why you get penalty shootouts and all them thing there, because it can't end as a draw.
Yeah, golden goal or whatever you need to do. So yeah, so I think we've managed to cover that base. No pun intended. But yeah, so on to the next topic. It's getting very heated. We've only got tomorrow we're supposed to have a fight. Teofimo Lopez versus George Kambosos on Triller tomorrow night on a Monday night. That was due to be the Monday Night Smoke after the Monday Night Smoke, but in the Barclays Center, New York, and Teofimo and co now want to move it to the 16th, and now George is saying he wants compensation of 6 figures for it to be moved. Yeah, 6 figures for it to be moved like a fortnight away, a postponement. And now Triller, because he's really playing hardball, Triller are now seeking to get George Kambosos stripped of an IBF title, and they are now saying they do not want to even have any involvement in promoting the fight, so the fight is now untelevised.
Yeah.
So what was the reason behind Teofimo Lopez wanted to move the date again? I forgot. I don't even know.
Again, I can't even tell you that. I saw the story and I just shook with amazement at the fact that at this late hour, you know, you're trying to reschedule an event which people have paid money to. No doubt some people are flying in from different locations around the globe to see this event. And all of a sudden, over some stupidness, you want to change the date. I'm like, what the hell? How is my sport just imploding on itself by doing all this madness? You know, if you have a reasonable reason to stop the fight, then yeah, you know, injury, sickness, whatever. Yeah, but this just seems like just ludicrous at how, you know, they found themselves in a situation where now the network have decided we're pulling the plug.
On a world title fight. So Valisa UK, he said they've not sold enough tickets, is what he's heard. Well, is that confirmed? Because I need to know what Teofimo Lopez's actual reason for wanting to move the date 2 weeks further to the 16th instead of fighting tomorrow night. Base the Kid says no one's flying COVID restrictions. Well, people can fly from Mexico, Nicaragua, because Teofimo Lopez is originally from, his family's from Nicaragua, so I'm sure he'll have some of them flying in. You might get, well, I'm not sure. Maybe Australians probably can't fly in, but yeah, you'll get people around the Americas being able to fly in or drive in, Canada as well. But yeah, does anyone in the comments know the reason why Teofimo Lopez wants to move the date to the 16th from the 4th? And what do you think should happen? Do you think that George Kambosos should get stripped of his IBF mandatory position? Tony?
Oh man, I mean, it looks like this is not Kambosos' fault.
Yeah. I'm trying to look what does anyone know the reason why
this I don't want to lay blame on one person's shoulder. What's up, Spencer? How you doing, bro? Yeah. You know, if this is Kambosos' fault, then yeah, he gets stripped. But if it's something to do with them moving all and sundry, because quite frankly, it looks like he's ready to fight tomorrow.
Yeah, I'm sure he's on way.
So if you're saying, nah, brother, we played this game, but now we have to move you to this, then I'm not willing to just turn around and say, well, he should be stripped because it's his fault. Because it looks to me like there's some kind of something going on.
Okay, Base the Kid has said they're moving the fight because they are going up against a huge American football game. Is it college, I imagine? Plus Fury Wilder.
It would be Monday Night Football.
Okay, so plus Fury Wilder free to no pay-per-view. Yeah, but that's on the 9th. So even moving it to the 16th, you're only going a week after Fury Wilder, so people would have paid their pay-per-view money. So you ain't going to get the pay-per-view on the 16th. It's better to get it before they do. Yeah, so, yeah, that's not a good enough reason, really. You would have known the dates of a football and your basketball and your sports roster lineups before you booked the date. So Tia really has to honor the agreement. Indomitable Lion, So it gets cancelled because of business. Yeah, it seems so that they're worried about, well, yeah, as Valisa said, they're worried about the pay-per-view. That's what it's coming down to, because they're worried about going up against an NFL game, or not NFL, but an American football type game. Is anyone else?
That's kind of ludicrous because, you know, look, sport takes place on every night of the week. We got Monday Night Football here sometimes. It don't happen often, but sometimes we have a Monday game. Monday Night Football in America is a regular thing. It's not like this is an outlier game on a Monday night. This is happening every week. Yeah. So for them to not have known that, you know what, we're putting this fight on a Monday, which is not normal boxing night.
Yeah.
What makes you think that, well, you know what, we're just going to a Monday and there will be nothing on the schedule? Are you mad? You know, I'm not even from that part of the world, but I even know Monday in America, most guys are going to Monday Night Football. If it's NBA season, there'll be a big game on a Monday with basketball. Yeah? So you have to come up against other sports. That's just life. Yeah? If we're going to put on boxing on a Saturday night, we're going to come up against a rugby a Super League final, or we could come up against an FA Cup final, or whatever. There's
Yeah.
always something. And I appreciate that we have the daytime sport and the nighttime sport. But, you know, look, they know this stinks to me. This stinks.
Yeah. Yeah, because we, you know, in the UK, depending where the F1, you know, they travel around the world, you could come up against the F1, and obviously everyone, loads of people watch people like Lewis Hamilton and co. So we reserve our dates normally for a Friday and Saturday night. We don't start moving into midweek and hoping for a Monday and a Wednesday when we know Premiership football is going to be on the menu. We can't compete with that. Like, boxing's big, but it's that big. Where it can compete with your football or soccer for those in the US watching. Yeah, Monday night is crazy. Indomitable Lion says Triller didn't know the dates because they're not boxing people. Yeah, but Triller must. You don't have to be a boxing person to know that what other sports are on that date. A normal civilian who ain't into boxing knows, you know about your American football, your basketball, your baseball. If you're in America, surely you would know that. Are these Triller people even American? Where are they from? Are they from somewhere else in the world? Why they wouldn't know that? You would know your country schedule.
Exactly. They must know that, you know, even if you don't know, you'd soon find out, because you kind of look at and go, right, which is my market? Because if my market is the American market, I have to make sure I'm not going to clash with
ESPN.
Exactly. You know, if my market is the UK market, then I have to make sure I'm not clashing with someone else that's running in the UK at that given time. We have loads of things here that could potentially come a cropper for a pay-per-view event, which people have got to be aware of. So you do your homework, you know, and this is, I'm going to say it, this comes down to you knowing your sport. And this is why I liked what I posted about Dana White was having a go at Oscar De La Hoya. Because Dana White knows his sport. You know, the guy has made it clear. He's put chapter and verse into his argument, and you go, there's a guy who knows his stuff. Now, if you're coming in, Johnny Lately, and you want to be a successful provider of boxing, great, but know your things. And that's what Dana White was saying. Anybody could create a mixed martial arts platform. But unless you're doing what I'm doing, you ain't going to make it.
Yeah. And don't watch the purses he's providing. Exactly. Unless you can provide better. Base the Kid says, Ryan Kavanaugh is American, admitted he didn't know the game was on. They just effed it up. All right, so if he didn't know, you telling me everyone in his team, all the staff members and deal makers and shakers, none of them could have advised him about this? Surely someone in Triller would have known this. So I don't think that's a valid excuse at the end of the day. And they need to honor the agreement and fight tomorrow night.
Yeah. Did they even think that, you know what, we can put this on against the Monday Night Football, and our boxing fraternity, people that love the sport, would ignore the football and just come to us? Is that what they're thinking?
Mm. Yeah.
You know, let's be honest. Football takes place at 8 o'clock. Sometimes you have a late kickoff on a Saturday at 8 o'clock. It might come up against a boxing event, but you kind of go, well, you know what? If I'm running that, I'm running that. And I'm prepared to go up against football, because there is a football fraternity and there's a boxing fraternity. And then there's a mixture where the guys will get an option. Well, you know what floats my boat that time? Am I going to sit in and watch football, or am I going to go to the boxing, or am I going to buy the pay-per-view, or am I going to go to the football game? That's something you deal with.
Yeah. Indomitable Lion Jack, no, well, they're proposing a new date of October the 16th, but the challenger, George Kambosos, is saying, no, he wants to fight tomorrow. He's ready now. And the champion, Teofimo Lopez, the one who beat Lomachenko, is saying he wants to fight on the 16th. And yes, but it seems that Teofimo he's in the wrong, but it's also Triller's fault. So Teo needs to holler at Triller and tell them, mate, you got to cough up the money then. for me.
Yeah, for real.
But well, he can't now because Triller
know,
said they don't want no involvement in this fight because they're already at a deficit with money, and they've just screwed the whole thing up.
Crazy because you kind of have to go. Well, there are contracts drawn up for this stuff. So quite clearly, if you sign a contract and you read through all the small print, you got to realize this is the date. It can only be stopped for these reasons, and if so, this is the fallback plan.
Yeah.
You know, these things are written in black and white. They're not like, you know, oh, let's just try a thing. And this is what this sounds like. This sounds like try a thing. You know what I mean? It really is as amateur as you get. You know, like, oh, shall we just move that? Shall we just move that? What are you thinking? These men are committed athletes. These are professionals. They work their socks off to a specific point in a month where they will be at their peak. And now you're going to go 24, 48 hours before and say, hang on a second, do you mind just like pushing yourself another couple of weeks in camp?
And let's remember, George has already had to move the date from the original schedule due to Teofimo catching the 19. So, but that's fair enough because that's, you know, but he now doesn't want to. He now feels, well, I'm not gonna wind down again, and I've got to get back to the peak. Like, I'm the challenger. This guy's the heavy favorite. Like, if I need a chance, I feel optimum now, so I need to fight tomorrow night.
Yeah, I mean, think about that. I've had to peak at a previous date. I've had to extend that peak, and now you're asking me to extend it again. What the hell?
For rubbish this time. The first one, he wouldn't have been passed for a medical anyway, but now he will. So, yeah, I don't think Triller have a leg to stand on. They can't get him stripped. They can't sue George. If anything, George can just turn up tomorrow at the Barclays and say, yeah, I'm here. I'm gloved up. I'm wrapped up. Ready to fight. I just need no fight. Okay, I need my money then because I'm here.
Yeah.
I've got the paperwork. We were due to this fight on this date. I've turned up. Where's the production team? I'm due to get my monies.
Yeah.
Has anyone got any opinions on this? Jack says they should run it tomorrow. Base says Triller needed the casuals involved because they overspent heavily on the fight and trying to make their money back. Yeah, but yeah, they just got to run with it. Ash Jones, it cost 1.2 so far. Moving it around, yeah, probably did.
So clearly, Triller in trouble because they've been the recipients of some bad luck with their fight schedules of late. Obviously, the initial delay to this particular fight. Then, of course, they had the Evander Holyfield debacle, which has left a sour taste for most boxing fans. You know, it's probably fair to say that their decision to announce that they're pulling out of what we call celebrity boxing is warranted. And you know my views on this, Dan. You know, I know the youth like this celebrity boxing, but for real, what I consider myself to be a real fight fan, it ain't boxing.
No, and I don't like it. I liked the first one, the Roy Jones, because I thought it was just going to be a little one-off. Like a little one-off. All right, everyone loves Mike Tyson. Yeah, let our kids watch. Yeah, this is what Mike does. This is what Mike does. All right, yeah, look, Roy Jones. All right, one-off. Allow it. But now everyone's jumping. I'm seeing videos of what's his name, bloody Riddick Bowe, shadow boxing, and his feet are gone, his legs are gone, he's staggering, shadow boxing. I was like, no, Riddick, don't do that. It can't be sanctioned. This is dangerous.
It's awful, bro. It's awful.
Yeah.
So, you know, the sport's in a bad place, both at amateur level and professional level right now. You know, with these things happening in such a short, compressed space of time, it kind of puts the focus on our beloved sport of boxing. I'm really, really, really disappointed by what's going on. You know, we're just seeing this lovely, beautiful, sweet science being decimated from the inside by its own governing bodies.
Mm.
You know, and it's time that we, you know, I just feel like we need some kind of like a change. A change is needed where, you know, people can, you know, come up and say, right, this is what's wrong with the sport. You know, we know that there are so many problems in boxing. You know, boxers don't have any pension. You know, we don't look after our aged boxers. You know, there are issues of mental health. There are issues of damage to the brain. There are issues with, you know, so many elements of the sport.
Yeah.
And then we've got these idiots shooting themselves in the foot with stupid decisions, poor matchmaking, poor judging. And so it's like, you know what? It's like it needs a complete overhaul.
Yeah, then what
You
they
know,
need,
we've had the amateur boxing turned into the pro boxing. So now pro boxers can box in amateur tournaments. You know, we've got amateur boxers fighting as semi-pro, or, you know what I mean? So where is it going, bro?
yeah. So what it probably needs is what you feel is like a world boxing governing body, like which governs the whole of boxing. So no matter what country, obviously there'll be a professional one. You can't have one doing amateur and pro, but there needs to be some kind of world boxing organization as a governing body overhaul because it's too fragmented at the moment, and you're just getting people like Triller, as Jack said. Yeah, it's really like trying a thing on road, because the reference you said earlier. Ash Jones says, this is how many will watch Lopez Kambosos after he beat Loma's downgrading opponent. Jack, they need to fight tomorrow. Ash, Triller ain't big enough to get people stripped. Or say, base the kid, they want George stripped because if the fight happens, they get their deposit back. Wait, what? If the fight happens, they get their deposit back? Do they? Oh, yeah. Okay. Ash, George can't be stripped. He ain't the champ. They want to strip him of his mandatory position, not his title. Ash.
That's right.
Yeah. Big up Ben Doughty. What's it? Jack. The boxers need a union. That's it. Like a world boxing union, but not the WBU. And a pension for when they retire. They're all broke after boxing. No, they're not all broke, but there is some sad cases, but that's just like any sport. There's a lot of NBA guys who are broke, who were superstars, NFL guys, pop stars, you name it. So that's just, some people are just not wise with their money. And as the saying goes, a fool and his money will soon be parted. So yeah, we're going to have to wait and see what happens. But if I was George, I'll turn up at the Barclays tomorrow night with my wraps, my gum shield, my shorts, my cup, and I'll stand in the middle of the arena, whether there's a ring set up or not, have some photos and video footage, and that way I'm covered that I turned up to the fight.
It's crazy, bro. It's crazy. But yeah, you're absolutely right. I would do the same. I'm standing by my guns on this one, bro. I'm like, yeah, you know what? I signed the contract here. If this guy is fit and ready and there's no medical reason for him not to turn up, then pay me my money, bro, because I'm there.
Yeah. Simples. Yeah. And on that note, guys, I think we've got to a conclusion, but yeah, let us know what your thoughts and opinions are. We're going to be uploading this to YouTube, so make sure you leave a comment. Be sure to like, subscribe. Also follow Pugalistic Boy on Instagram and YouTube as well. And I hope you enjoy all the great content. So yeah, peace out, guys, from Fight Fan TV Live.
Bye now.